Hi guys, it's me again, I'm Dan and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be doing my League 2 predictions. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing here because I've had only time to do minimal research, so this is probably going to go horrendously bad, but we move. But let's get straight into the video. In 24th, I've put Scunthorpe. Now, similarly to a couple of the teams in the Championship that I did yesterday, coming down from the league above has not done Scunthorpe any favours, and ever since then they've just been flopping every year. And I just think that, for me, they're going to finish bottom of the table because they just don't look like they are trying to improve, and they don't look like their squad has enough to actually do any better than they've been doing previous seasons. So for me, Scunthorpe are actually going to do worse and finish bottom of the table and get relegated to the National League. In 23rd, I've put Sutton, newly promoted Sutton United, and with them not having had any real experience in the Football League, I don't know whether it will pay off for them this season. The reason I've put Sutton in 23rd is because I just don't feel like the standard coming up from the National League with both Sutton and Hartlepool are very high. I just think that although Sutton won the league and Hartlepool came up through the playoffs, I think that Hartlepool have had some experience in the Football League, so they'll have some idea of how to get some good results, but Sutton, I can't see them doing that, and that is why I'm unfortunately putting Sutton to be getting relegated straight back down to the National League. Okay, and based on my wording of that last one, I've put Hartlepool in 22nd. I have put Hartlepool to just stay up though, and the reason for that is because, as I said, they've had some previous experience in the Football League. The squad looks better than Sutton and Scunthorpe, so I feel like they should be able to get some alright results against them and maybe some other teams on paper, but obviously it's not on paper in football, it's about what happens on the field. But I just think for Hartlepool should be an okay year for them, and I think that after this year, if they stay up, they should be able to establish themselves as a Football League team for ideally the next few years, because I like Hartlepool being a fellow North East supporter. And yeah, good luck to Hartlepool this season. In 21st, I've put Stevenage. Obviously, a couple of years ago, Stevenage got very lucky to stay up on points per game, and obviously Macclesfield had points deducted as well, so that sent them down and kept Stevenage up. Last year, they had a vast improvement, finishing in 14th. And I don't see them doing it again, and I just think that that probably was a bit of a fluke because they were so panicked about potentially getting relegated the season after they just stayed up. But yeah, I think at the same time, I could be totally wrong here, and this is one that it could go either way, but for me, I'm just going to have to put them down in 21st. In 20th, I've gone with Swindon, who have just been relegated from League 1. As a lot of you may know, Swindon have been having a lot of financial trouble, and I just cannot put them any higher up than this. The state of Swindon's club is looking pretty dull at the moment, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually ended up getting relegated from League 2 this season, but I am going to say that they'll stay up because, yeah, they should be able to do so. However, I do think that Swindon need to get this situation sorted out and fast, or things will get a hell of a lot worse for them. We'll see what happens there, but I've put Swindon in 20th. In 19th, I've gone with Barrow, and I think that they did really well to stay up last season after winning the National League the previous season. I think they've done some okay business in the transfer window this season so far. I think Barrow have enough to survive again this season, because looking at the teams that I've put below them, I just feel like Barrow are comfortably better than those and definitely are not going to be getting comfortably relegated either. So 19th is where I'm putting Barrow. In 18th, I've gone with Crawley, and Crawley are a club that tend to fluctuate with their position in the leagues. They did alright last season, they got top half, and I feel like other teams are going to be pushing to finish higher up the table, and I don't know if Crawley are going to be able to match them. So Crawley are going to have to go in 18th. In 17th, I am putting Harrogate. Harrogate did a really, really good job last year. They started the season really well, and I was like, are they going to be able to push on, or are they going to fall away? And they did end up falling away. But I do think that Harrogate will survive, and pretty comfortably as well, as they did last year. Not as high placing as last year, but 17th for me. In 16th, I've gone with Oldham, and I don't think that Oldham are going to be any stronger than this. The squad looks okay. It's not one of the better squads in the league, as people will probably know, and as probably the Oldham fans will know. But for now, I think that if they finish in 16th, it's okay for them. Like, there's still in League 2 that it gives them something to work on. If you're an Oldham fan watching this video, please comment, let me know what your expectations for your club are this season. For me, I am predicting you guys to be in 16th. In 15th, I am going with Walsall, and after coming down from League 1 a couple of years ago, it's not really clicked for them. Last year especially, I don't think that they did very well at all. I do think they'll improve a little bit, but again, there's some really, really excellent teams further up the table, and I think that again Walsall will struggle to keep up with those teams, and as I said, I think they'll do better than last year, but I am putting them in 15th. In 14th, I am putting Colchester, and last season for Colchester was just absolutely diabolical. I don't even know how to explain it. It just wasn't great at all, but this year I do think they'll improve on that, and I think that Colchester will actually manage to push towards the top half this season. They finished in the playoffs a couple of years ago, so it was kind of a bit unexpected for them to do that last year. But yeah, as I said, I think that they will do a bit better this season, finishing in 14th. In 13th, I'm going with Mansfield, and Mansfield evidently have some decent players in their squad, because again, a couple of years ago they did finish in the playoffs, and you have to have a decent squad to do that. Obviously in that time they probably lost players and things like that. I haven't really looked too in depth at Mansfield for this video, but yeah, I think they finished 16th last season, and I do believe that they'll do a little bit better and push closer to the top half. But again, there's teams above them which are going to be better than them this season, and 13th is the only real place I can see Mansfield finishing. So now we get to the top half, and in 12th I have put Carlisle. Carlisle haven't done that much business in the transfer window really, I haven't seen much from them. But equally, Carlisle's just consistently having decent seasons, and I do think they'll have another one. Not quite as good as last year, they finished in 10th last year, but they'll definitely get top half this season. In 11th I'm going with Newport, and the reason I'm doing this is because in League 2, one pattern that I'm seeing a lot of now is teams getting playoff spots and then just the following season just losing all confidence when they lose the playoffs and just finishing a hell of a lot lower. I haven't seen it much in other leagues, but in League 2 it tends to happen a lot with a few teams, and I just feel like with that trend going on, I've got to predict somebody to do that. And with Newport obviously losing the final, I feel like for them it would have been a bit more gutting to get to that stage and lose it, especially losing 2 playoff finals in the space of a couple of years. Although I think they'll get top half, I don't think that they are going to be pushing playoffs again this season. In 10th I've put Port Vale, and before I go into this I just want to point out that Port Vale could easily do a hell of a lot better than this. However, I am putting them in 10th, and the reason I'm doing so is because they have had a very good transfer window. I think they've recruited really nicely, but equally looking at the players they've brought in, they're signing players from other League 2 teams for the most part, and that's just going to cement them a place in League 2 comfortably rather than just help them try and get up a division. But obviously you never know. As I said, with those signings, the squad does look pretty good, and I could be totally wrong with that one. I did initially have Port Vale to be in the playoffs and winning them, but yeah, no, I've obviously changed my mind about that. And yeah, I think 10th is where Port Vale will finish. In 9th I'm putting Forest Green, and I do believe that Forest Green will be another team that will fall away a little bit after being in the playoffs. Forest Green, obviously, there was that really massive thriller of a game against Newport in the playoffs last year, and I think because they kept fighting back and giving themselves a chance to get to the final of playoffs, to lose them in that fashion probably would be a bit gutting for them, and I just think that they're not going to be able to do the same again this season because of the standard of some of the teams that came down. And yeah, I am putting Forest Green in 9th. Okay, finishing at 8th, just outside the playoffs, I am putting Rochdale, and the reason I'm doing that is they've obviously got a decent squad compared to the other teams because they've just come down from League 1, but they have got rid of a few good players from the squad, and I do think that that will be their downfall this season and make them finish outside of the playoffs and not get top 7. Obviously they'll be up there because they're a stable club, they've come down from League 1, and usually if you're stable and come down from the league above, then you're going to be somewhat challenging. With those players leaving them, it's not really going to help them, and so I'm putting them in 8th. So now we get to the top 7, and in 7th I am putting Leyton Orient. I think that they are another team who've recruited really well and have certainly put their name in the hat for promotion this season. I don't know if this squad has enough to be as consistent as the 6 teams above, but I do think that they'll get playoffs and challenge really well in them. So for me, Leyton Orient will finish 7th. In 6th, I've gone with Bristol Rovers. Obviously, there's a situation with Joey Barton going on. I just think that that whole situation is going to make Bristol Rovers very, very unstable, and I think their squad itself actually has the capabilities to win the league and get automatically promoted. But I just think that they're not going to be able to do that, because if Joey Barton does end up staying with them, I think that he will instill bad attitudes into the players. Like, I know you get all these people who are like, he might be a bit of an idiot, but his football is really good. If you're going to have that much anger in you, then you're going to obviously put across like a negative attitude to the players, and for me, I just don't think that his style of management is going to get him very far in this league. And for me, Bristol Rovers will just get playoffs and finish in 6th. In 5th, I've put Salford. A lot of people are predicting Salford to get automatically promoted, and they have ever since their amazing first season after getting promoted from the National League. I think that they will do better because they ended the season relatively well and managed to get up to 7th. However, I don't think they'll do better than that, because I think there's a few teams further up that will be more consistent than them. But at the same time, they do have the capabilities to get some good results, and I think that finishing in 5th, they should finish in the playoffs comfortably. Okay, who's going to get that last playoff spot? In 4th, I've put Bradford City. Let's be honest, everyone's been optimistic about Bradford's upcoming season. I do think that some results will be almost flukes, if you will, but I'm not saying that they're going to fluke the season, because to an extent you can't really fluke the season because you have to be somewhat consistent. But yeah, I do think that Bradford will finish in 4th, because I believe that the squad is good enough to do that. And yeah, for me, that's all there is to it, and I'm putting Bradford in 4th. So if you haven't heard your team, you'll know that they're in the automatic promotion spot. In 3rd, I am putting Exeter, and they have been so unlucky, especially with the playoffs in these past few seasons. They lost to Blackpool in the playoff final, they lost to Coventry in the playoff final, and they lost to Northampton in the playoff final. Like, how many times can they miss out on promotion? And I just don't think that they can possibly do it again if they tried. So I do think that this year they are going to get promoted, and I think they will do it automatically. I think they've done some comfortable transfer business, and they've cemented the quality of their squad, if you will. And for me, I think it'll be more a situation where they do similar to what Bolton did last year. They'll start off a bit poor and they'll manage to claw their way back, and that momentum will actually push them into the automatic promotion spots. So yeah, I do think that that will happen, and I think that Exeter are going to finish in 3rd place this season. In 2nd, I am putting Northampton. This is quite a bold prediction, to be fair, because a lot of people are choosing other teams that came down from League One to finish higher up. I think that Northampton have had the experience of finishing in the automatic promotion spots and obviously winning the league. And I think that they will manage to get the automatic promotion spot, but I think it'll be very close between them and the 1st place. Yeah, Northampton have a good squad, and I think last season they really at times looked like they shouldn't be where they were. They beat Portsmouth 4-0, and some of the quality in that game from Northampton was absolutely amazing. I can't see a scenario where Northampton aren't challenging up at the top of League 2 this season, so I am putting them into 2nd place. So obviously there's one team I haven't mentioned, and that is Tranmere, who I am putting to win the league. So Tranmere obviously finished in 7th last year, just making it into the playoffs. I think they have recruited exceptionally well, and that combined with some of the quality that they already have in their squad is really going to push them up this season. For me, there is not a better squad in that league, and Tranmere definitely have the quality to win this league, and so I am putting Tranmere to win the league. So there we go, there we have all of my 24 places and rankings. So now, before we end the video, of course, as we do on this channel, I am going to be predicting who I think will win the playoffs. So as a reminder, my 4 playoff teams are Bradford, Salford, Bristol Rovers and Leyton Orient. I think that Leyton Orient are going to win the playoffs. So obviously I put Leyton Orient as the lowest playoff spot, but I think finishing in 7th for them would be an achievement and it would motivate them to actually go on and win the playoffs. But I also think that Bristol Rovers is going to have a negative mentality. Salford have the capability to win a trophy and I do think it would be Salford that would go to the final with them. And Bradford, I just don't think that they have enough in the squad to beat anyone else in the playoffs. Like, the playoffs doesn't come down to ranking because League 2 especially has had teams that finished lower down actually go on to win them. Like Northampton, when they won the playoffs a couple of years ago, they finished in the lowest one and managed to win them. So it does happen, and I am predicting Leyton Orient to do the exact same thing. And so, yeah, Leyton Orient for me are going to win the playoffs. Okay, so that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and drop a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts and predictions are for the League 2 season. If you support a club in League 2, let me know how you're feeling about your club situation. And yeah, as I said, that's going to be it. So leave a like, drop a comment down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!